Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make sprouts, how to grow sunflower sprouts in soil. So take a look, very easy, anyone can do it, okay? So here I wanted to show you what the sunflower seeds look like, because this is what we're going to be sprouting, and this is what they look like when they're dry. And when you buy them, make sure that they're organic, and sometimes on the package, usually it'll say for sprouting. So, because a lot of times if you just get them out of the bulk bin, half the time they don't even sprout. So what you would do is you'd put them in a jar, okay? I'm going to put, I would say about 4 or 5 tablespoons. So I have them in the jar, and then I'm going to put some water in here, spring water. And so you want to use either filtered water or you want to be using spring water. You don't want to be using like tap water, because these are your sprouts, you're growing them, they're made out of water, that you don't want them made out of like scary tap water. So I actually have a fancy lid for my sprouting jar. This is an actual sprouting jar I bought. It's really easy because it's got this lid and you see the little mesh here. So with the mesh, it's easy to drain it out. As you can see, all the water drains out and I don't have to worry about my seeds. And the beautiful thing about it is that later on when I'm sprouting it, it tilts it up so it just drains out into the sink. Perfecto. We're going to add some water into the jar. Again, this is spring water. And then you're just going to like put it somewhere, anywhere, and you're going to let it just sit for 6 hours, overnight, 6 to 8 hours. So do this right before you go to bed, and when you wake up in the morning, I'll show you what to do. They've been soaking overnight for 6 to 8 hours, and then first thing you would do is you would drain the water. But if you were just to be, let's say, soaking your seeds in a jar like this overnight, what you would do is, I find this thing that's very handy. It's a colander that's made with a really fine mesh. So you would drain the seeds with that. And then you put them back in the jar. And either you can leave it out just like this, okay? And you can have it in a jar, you can have it in a bowl, whatever you want. You can just leave it out like this and rinse this twice a day. Or if you can find either like a fine mesh to put over the lid, or if you have one of these things like I have, then I actually tilt it upside down and I let the water drain, because there's always like a little bit of water remaining in here that it's good if it comes out. So I just leave that all day and I'll rinse the seeds twice a day. Another option you have is to actually put the seeds in a nut milk bag. And a nut milk bag is a nylon bag that's really, really fine. And you would just put the seeds in the bag. And I actually have a little nail that is right above my kitchen sink, right up here. And so I let it hang over the kitchen sink, as you see, and then the water can drain out and the air can flow through it, and there's no chance of any kind of mold or anything growing. And again, I would rinse this out twice a day. And you would do that for 2 to 3 days until you'll actually see a tail growing out of the seed. And that's when you know that it's ready to put on a bed of soil. So our sunflower seeds, they're sprouted. So as you can see the little tails coming out of them? So what you're going to need is you're going to need some organic soil. You're going to need your sprouted sunflower seeds. You can either have like the trays and the planters kind of stuff, or you can just use your plates that you have at home. So I'm going to just show you how I do it. I put some soil, and this is organic soil. You put this all along my plate, and that's the dirt. You can get as far as you want. You just want to leave maybe about an inch, or I wouldn't even do an inch. I'd leave like half an inch just around, because you're going to pour some water along the edges. That having half an inch is enough. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your seeds, and you're just going to, you know, you don't want to have like too much crowding on top of each other, but you want to use up as much of the room as possible. Now we've got our 2 plates of sprouts, and they're on the soil and they're ready to be watered. I'm using spring water. That's what I prefer to use. And then, yeah, so I don't have like a watering thing. As you can tell, I'm more like a kitchen lady than a gardening lady. It's because I'm in the city. So you're just gonna go kind of like on a little, you don't want to put too much water, just a little drizzle. And you kind of zigzag. And then what you can do is you can even, just around the edges, water it. Okay, but you don't want it like too filled with water, you just want it moist. Now, what you're gonna do is you have to create greenhouse. So what you do is you get 2 other plates that are a little bit smaller, and you put them on top. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna keep all your sprouts like nice and cozy and warm, and it's going to create kind of like a humid environment. And then this is what's going to allow it to start growing. Okay, and so you can just put it aside anywhere, doesn't matter where you put it, and I'll show you what you do in another day or 2. Now it's 3 days later, and let's take a look at our friends. They've actually been growing. And now it's actually ready to take the plate away. And you're going to just check the soil, and it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to just water it. And as I showed you the other day, I do a zigzag and just a little bit of water. And then I'm also just going to do a little bit, just a drizzle, just around, okay? And here are our lovely sprouts, and these are sunflower sprouts, and they're ready to eat. So if you were wanting to cut them to put into your juice or into your salad, you would cut them down at the bottom near the soil, okay? And you just cut through them. Here are our lovely, beautiful sprouts. I mean, how magical is this? This is grown in my city home, in my kitchen, okay? The freshest food you can find. And I suggest for anyone that's, when they're eating their sprouts, you cut it off the bed and you eat it immediately. Don't cut the entire bed off and eat half and put the rest in the refrigerator. You want to keep these as fresh as possible, and you want to keep them growing. So you just want to cut off what you need and leave the rest to be, okay? And yeah, so you can do this with all sorts of different seeds and try things out, do mixes, whatever you want. But this is perfect, and cheap, 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 cheap. And this is what will get you through the cold winter, okay? So perfect food for the winter. No more complaints about no more fresh food. You get it fresh from your own home. All right, you guys, so I am wishing you a fabulous, fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.